The nuke. Where'd you get it?
What? You want one? Copy that.
Heroes and villains from the pages of DC Comics posture and clash in Injustice: Gods Among Us. This is the second time Mortal Kombat developers NetherRealm Studios have entered the DC Universe, following a decent but sub-super crossover title, Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe. They're a stronger studio now, having proven their might with 2011's reboot of Mortal Kombat, stuffed with different modes, fan-pleasing extras, and an impressively technical fighting system. Injustice builds on these lessons learned, and when all is said and done, makes a pretty solid impact. Gods and superheroes may rank a step above mortals, but the combat with a K that takes place here will feel familiar indeed to anyone who spent some time with the last MK. Projectiles fly and close-range combos launch and relaunch opponents into the air for extended punishment. Fighters build up power meters as they exchange blows, which is channeled into super-powered moves and grandiose signature attacks that tend to capture the essence of what each character is all about.
Stand down. Fire again.
Does Injustice feel like a Mortal Kombat game with all the Mortal Kombat characters swapped out for superheroes? It kind of does, actually, but the secret gameplay identity isn't really such a bad thing. 24 of DC's finest have shown up to throw down, teaming up to form one respectable roster. Characters like Shazam and Black Adam may not have permeated pop culture, but everyone knows who Superman and Batman are, and surely at least a few people went out to see the Green Lantern movie. The important thing is that everyone here knows how to fight.
I need to charge my ring.
Their combat styles may incorporate some distinctive MK-style moves, but just because Batman has a slide kick doesn't mean he's simply Sub-Zero dressed up in a batsuit. Injustice celebrates gameplay diversity, tossing in some massive bruisers like Bane and Solomon Grundy into the mix, to contrast with typical zoning or rushdown style characters. It's still very combo-focused, but there are some interesting playstyles to explore. The game also throws a few tricks on top of its basic systems. Certain attacks can smash your opponents through walls for a ridiculously elaborate and showy transition to a new battleground. This one isn't bad, and certainly emphasizes the superhuman strength of its combatants. On the other hand, a flow-breaking clash mechanic that has you wager your super meter against your opponent can only really be called strategic if you break out the air quotes.
I will break the bat. I don't break easily.
Gimmicks aside, the game still takes itself seriously as a fighter, looking to other fighting games for inspiration. It feels like NetherRealm has upped their game in a few smart ways, but a couple of the mechanical additions don't feel thoroughly considered. The addition of a dedicated character-specific power button to the default control scheme only really makes sense for a few of the cast. And while blocking has been simplified to holding back or down while being attacked, everyone seems to have easy cross-ups, jumping attacks capable of hitting a blocking opponent from behind, as if it were an inevitable consequence.
Fully charged.
Despite numerous new systems and additions, Injustice is still perhaps a bit easier to get into than other fighting games, and loose enough that it's very likely to be broken wide open by hardcore players. The important thing is that the pieces fit together in a way that works. Small improvements and a willingness to experiment make Injustice feel like another small step down the path to a tournament-worthy game.
Here's your chance to do what's right. I would take it.
To this end, total mastery of any particular character won't come easily. Everyone has their own catalog of moves, special moves, and combos. A simple tutorial offers only a broad overview of the game's systems, so you'll need to hit the practice room to cook up truly nasty techniques. The game offers a lot of tools, providing you with frame data for each move and allowing you to set numerous AI response options. Most of the options will be lost on newer players or anyone who isn't super into fighting games, however, and there's no easy way to learn a particular character aside from jumping in and trying to figure it out. Fighting game message boards and enrolling in the school of literal hard knocks are really your only courses of action.
I want to talk to Superman.
You don't talk to Superman, you do what he wants.
You can expect solid competition online, but you can't expect every match to go smoothly. It's not always possible to see how good your opponent's connection is, and though the action continues looking smooth, controls will often feel stiff and laggy in a bad match. Other than random matches, you can join rooms and challenge players you'd like to fight, or get into a winner stays lobby to spectate a few matches while you wait for your shot at the current champ.
I knew they'd pull you over eventually. You don't belong here.
Fortunately, you don't need tricky setups and killer combos to enjoy the game's extensive story mode, which Injustice handles in a bombastic and entertaining way that should appeal to almost anyone with even a passing interest in the source material. In an alternate universe, a tragedy both personal and grand scale has turned Superman into a tyrannical dictator who rules over Earth with a fist of steel. Fighting this oppression is an alternate reality Batman who pulls a group of super individuals into this world in an attempt to set things right.
So big, so dumb.
The tone occasionally veers toward flippant silliness, but it takes guts to offer a serious explanation as to how normal humans can fight near invulnerable super beings on a level playing field. You'll jump from one character to the next, kicking the ass of whoever's placed in front of you to continue the story in a series of fights. If you can't clear the difficulty bar, it'll automatically lower. The game wants you to experience the full, lengthy story.
With these, a bus could fall on us, and we won't be hurt.
Epically proportioned cutscenes often bite off more than they can chew, resulting in big moments feeling dinky, and simple QuickTime events detract from the drama. But generally entertaining banter between super friends and super foes is the real reward. There are some groaners mixed in with the better lines, but the story succeeds in convincing you that these characters know each other and exist in the same world. This same sense of super melodrama extends to fights outside story mode as well. Bane can inflict his brutal backbreaker on any member of the cast, but it somehow feels different when the spine belongs to Batman. Injustice offers you a fair number of extras through the cards earned as you level up while playing in any game mode. You'll definitely want to unlock your favorite character's alternate costume, and some of the single-player battles put an interesting spin on the fights, but the game's major secondary mode, dubbed Star Labs, feels like a bit of a grind. You'll start by performing your character's basic moves, while later missions might have you dodging projectiles, fighting waves of opponents, or controlling a cat in a museum. The sub-goals to earn all 3 stars can feel annoying rather than fun, and because each individual's challenges unlock in linear order, you can't skip to a character you actually like, or cherry-pick the most entertaining missions. You might find it worth playing around here simply for variety's sake, but it's not a major draw. In some ways, Injustice feels like a sequel to Mortal Kombat that swapped in one group of costume combatants for another. The chunky animation style of older Mortal Kombat games can make these heroes seem alternately super powerful or super awkward, and the Netherrealm look doesn't fit every character. Wonder Woman can only be described as a victim of the aesthetic. But this is really a minor complaint for a very playable and easily enjoyable fighter. There's a lot to appreciate here, and many good fights to be had. Injustice actually does justice to its source material and its players.
I should be dead. Thanks, Happy Pill.
See all of our shows and game reviews now on the brand new GT app on Xbox Live, and the GT Originals iOS app too.